Short sleeves for cold weather, Darn?
Oh, yeah, I guess. I didn't really think about it. Keyshawn Elliott's going to be out this week, just so everybody knows. Hopefully we'll get him back next week, but we'll see how that progresses. And then Scat is still, the same as I said in the press conference. He hasn't practiced this week. We'll see how he feels on Saturday.
So with Scat probably not going, how about getting other guys involved? Brooks, McCaskill, whoever?
We're definitely practicing different guys in there to get reps because Scat's not in there, right, for practice. So we'll see where he stands. But those guys, Brooks and Sip, those guys have gotten a lot of reps all camp. Now we're getting McCaskill and JB back there a little bit more.
McCullough led you guys in tackles from the linebacker group against Oklahoma State. Are you going to see more mix up with other guys in the linebacker group like Keyshawn's not doing?
100%. Yeah, you'll definitely see more of that crew in there for sure. Especially we've been rotating linebackers pretty good. So when you lose one guy out of that rotation, the other guys just kind of step up a little bit more.
Coach, what's your overall just growth of the offensive line? So that you play as a unit, and obviously Scat's on the team and Sam's protection, everything. What have you seen from that group?
Yeah, they're just playing well together. They're meshing together. We've had the similar guys be with each other for most of the season now, which is always a positive. And then they're a veteran group. Like, even though only one of them or two of the guys that are in the 7-man rotation right now are technically have to leave, 5 of those guys come back. When you look at our starting lineup, 4 of those guys can return and have another year, which is a huge positive for us. But Leaf and Ben and Matt, that entire crew, Skrill, they've just done such a great job merging together, believing in the vision that Coach Saga's put together.
Is there anything you can disclose about the nature of the injury?
Oh, yeah, he got a stinger, and he's just working his way back, and we're just being precautious, to make sure that, when you get stingers, sometimes if you go and play too soon, you may get another one. So we're just being very precautious with him, make sure he gets back and as healthy as possible.
Central Florida's got a good running back. You guys have done a really good job stopping the run. What about that matchup?
Yeah, he could be the best back we faced all year. He's dynamic. He's explosive. They're committed to running the football. So when you have a guy who's that dynamic and you commit to giving him the ball a certain amount of times, he's going to break loose. He's going to make a play. The challenge is not yards per carry. The challenge is, how many times do we stop him for a defensive win on that play? How can we go first down run, second down run, 3rd and 7? It's not, is this a team that's going to be at 2nd and 5, first down, 2nd and 4, first down? It's how do we make them one big run for gain of 20, one big run for gain of 18, and then 3 good plays to hold them to get them to 3rd down, right? We got to get these guys to 3rd down.
Last year, consistency on the offensive line was a big problem, a lot of injuries. You said just now that you guys have been able to see them mesh together really well. How big of a key has that been from last year to this year?
Oh, yeah. O-line makes your football team go. I firmly believe that. If you have a good O-line, your D-line practices versus a good O-line, they get better. If you have a good O-line, you can run the ball. If you can run the ball, you should be able to throw the ball, right? So, in order to be a good football team, you have to have a good O-line. You can't practice versus a defense without a good O-line, which means your defense can't get better without a good O-line. There is not a position that's more valuable to an overall team than offensive line because it's what makes practice go, what makes games go. It makes everything go.
How big of that is kind of you've seen in Sam's play? Because you saw a lot of quarterback injuries because of the offensive line injuries last year. Is that the biggest part of Sam's play, you think, this year?
It's a part of it. I think it's a team effort for Sam's play, and then Sam puts in a ton of work. Sam works as hard as anybody I've ever had at that position. His care level is really high, and I think Coach Arroyo has done a phenomenal job with him.
How big has the scheme change at least been with adjusting to the fact that Scat's obviously not going to be available and having to necessarily rotate with the running back situation? Is play action going to feel like going to be possibly more of a considered issue against a UCF secondary that's been up and down? What is that scheme?
Well, one player is really not going to define how much the scheme that you put in. We're going to, sometimes they can, but you got to put together the best plan for your football team. And we developed a plan for our football team, and if Scat's involved in that on Saturday, great. If Scat's not involved in that on Saturday, then we have to see, we have to kind of get a feel. Coach Royal's gonna have to get a feel for the game, for this specific game. You know what I mean? Which may be a little bit different. We haven't played without Scat, so if we play without him, then he may have to get a feel for the game of how it's working. If we play with him, then he still has to get a feel for the game. So there's really no different. We put together a plan, and then you got to get a feel for how the game's going and call it from there.
You talked about the
line. Are there any receivers that you want to get more involved. I know Jordan Tyson's obviously done a good job this season of having a lot of catches consistently, getting other players involved.
Yeah, you always want to try to be balanced a little bit offensively. I think we were more balanced last week than we were in weeks prior. So, yeah, I definitely would love to see more guys, touch the ball and get catches.
How close have you and Coach Malzahn stayed since he left that staff?
Yeah, I mean, we're close. I mean, we talk, we communicate. We probably talk on the phone, 2 to 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year. We see each other at the coaching conventions and stuff like that. Coach Malzahn's, of active coaches, he's one of the most successful guys. I bet you he's on the top 15, top 20 list of most wins, if not higher right now. I just made up that stat, but I bet you it's close. He could be top 10. He could be top 8 in terms of active coaches wins. So he's been doing it a long time. He's won a lot of games. And he made a change last week, and those guys played really, really hard with the change, and this is going to be a great challenge.
Do you know, does it help you kind of know him a little bit, maybe what they might call or what they might do?
No. I mean, it doesn't. They do so much stuff offensively. Sometimes you can help too much. Listen, if they're getting this, they're going to want to run this, but they haven't run it this year. They ran it last year in week 3, and if they're going to do this, it's like, are we going to chase ghost, or are we just going to play football? And I think sometimes when you have background with people, you want to chase ghost. And I don't want our guys chasing ghost. Am I going to give them my intel on maybe, how they think or what their thought process would be? Yes. But I can't tell them do this or do that or dig into the weeds too much, because I think we'll be chasing too many ghosts. And that's part of knowing somebody and being in a system and playing somebody that you know. You kind of got to be a little bit aware of that.
You mentioned your familiarity with Addison Williams already. What makes him such an impressive defensive mind?
Yeah, well, one, he's super intelligent. He can see one play and remember it. And then 2, he's a great relationship guy. So when you're really intelligent and you can create great relationships, that's what makes great coaches. So I think the combination of just his overall intelligence level on the field, off the field, like he's one of those people that are smart in life. He's smart with people. Like he's a really good football coach. And that's what really good football coaches are. They have great balance, especially in college. I think he's got great balance of being intelligent as a person, intelligent as a football coach, and his ability to remember things, remember plays, and pull from watching a play once, and then with his people skills. I think all that makes him a phenomenal football coach. Like I said in my press conference, I think he'll be a head coach here sometime in the near future.
Especially in the first half, you were able to hit Shimon pretty consistently. What does he do to open up that offense when Sam can find it consistently?
Yeah, obviously the more people touch the ball, the better. I mean, that's every offense. If you don't know where the ball's going, it's a positive. And then there's times where, people know where the ball's going. And that's a positive too. So it's that balance of we have play, we're throwing it here. And then we have things where it's, hey, we're not throwing it here. And we're getting the guy in the space based off the coverage. But you have to have a balance schematically of moving people around, but also taking what the defense gives you.